Alright, it's been a minute since I did anything, since I put anything out there, but and forgive I'm at work, I'm watching monitors and stuff like that, so if I glance over or look around, that's why. Like some of you, I'm going to assume I'm not the only one that's kind of addicted to watching the things going on down at ICE. So I have a habit of watching multiple streams at a time, and this evening, as I was getting ready for work, I'm watching one called Ground Zero PDX, who is Shane, and someone who I consider a dear friend, Quincy, also known as the Black Conservative Preacher, BCP. Q was talking yesterday on a live stream about how he believes it's died off down there. Shane, I believe, lives relatively close to there, really close to there. So he's literally been down there every night. Props to him. Apparently he has a full-time job, goes down there at night. He's putting the work in. But I can watch when I'm at home, I can watch one stream on the TV and one stream on my phone, and I have two phones, so I can watch 3 streams at a time if I choose to. And I also try to pay attention to the chats. I feel it's always good to keep your eye on the pulse of the public, what they think about what's going down. This evening I saw a rift between the chat in Shane's and the chat in Quincy's. They're both down there, basically base root, same reasons. They just have different tactics in doing what they're doing. Therein lies the problem that arose in the chats. It really disheartens me when I see people go into full attack mode, smack talk mode, however you want to put it. There's only so much, I don't believe that chat words are violence and all of that, but the attitude is concerning. I've never been a fan of punching right, even when I've had issues with other conservatives, other people in the movement. I try to do it in a, for lack of another way to put it, in a family way. You disagree with your brothers, your sisters, your moms, your uncles, your aunts, whatever. Most of the time we don't go full attack mode. We just talk some smack to each other, and eventually, hopefully, it works itself out. That's the way I've tried to approach our differences on the right. We don't always agree with the tactics that one another uses. If I had to choose a side, I have a more personal relationship with Quincy, so obviously I would have to back up my friend. But that being said, I haven't always agreed with his tactics either. I consider myself a Christian. I try to be the best Christian I can be. But my faith and my walk with Jesus does not include standing in downtown Portland with giant signs and sweatshirts and telling people that they're going to go to hell and all of that. That's, for my personal walk, that seems a bit extreme. So we haven't always agreed on those tactics. But I don't attack him for it, and I will still support him because I believe in why he's doing it. And we've discussed it, and we're still friends 10 years later. That's how I met the street preachers, was I happened upon them, my very first rally, or very first riot event. I ended up in the post-election melee that was downtown Portland in 2016, and ended up by happenstance standing behind some standing behind some street preachers when the movement started and everything like that. We started having conservative rallies. I met Quincy and we developed a friendship from there. Sorry, I'm also a little bit under the weather. But anyways, I was never the biggest fan of the extreme tactics that street preachers use. I believe I've asked him long ago about the comparison between him and maybe the Westboro Baptist Church for say, it's just I wasn't completely on the street preacher train, but I know his heart. I've talked to the man, and I asked him. I didn't just make judgments. I don't have very good friendships with many of them, but I know a few other street preachers, and I know their hearts, and I know what kind of men they are. So even though we have differences in our opinion on tactics, it doesn't change the fact that we're both fighting the same battle. It's kind of like different branches of the armed forces. Somebody sitting that's a controller that's flying drones from a computer screen is not going to have the same tactics as a Green Beret or a Navy SEAL, but they're both necessary. As far as Quincy goes, I have immense respect for the way that he approaches things. I have never once in 10 years, in many events where there's been opposition, sometimes extremely violent opposition, I've never seen Quincy be violent. I've never seen Quincy get into severe confrontations. Arguments, yes. Debates, 100%. But I've never seen him get angry and violent and extremely confrontational. But that leads me to my next point. I'm going to assume that I say a safe figure is probably 80-85% of the people in these chats have never been boots on the ground, have never stood in front of an Antifa line, or even what we got going on here at the new ICE protest. It's easy to sit behind your keyboard states away and make judgments and pretend like you know better. The truth is we have, Quincy has. Sometimes we're a bit hyperbolic and we call them battles. They're not always battles. Sometimes they actually are, but Quincy and I like to joke that we've been on the front lines of battles together for a decade now. Many of them. I've seen that man put himself in harm's way more times than as a friend I'd like to see. And I'm sure he feels the same way about me and others that have been with us. Being online, people like to, it's a giant Jerry Springer show. People like the drama. You don't watch Jerry Springer to hear what anybody has to say. You watch Jerry Springer because you hope somebody's going to swing on somebody or throw a chair. I used to be a very, very devout NASCAR fan. Most people don't watch 4 hours of NASCAR to watch cars go around in circles. They watch to see cars wreck. It's kind of human nature. And he's admitted this plenty of times. You see, he doesn't do the confrontation, so he doesn't get the viewership and the donations that some of these channels do, because people tune in to see Shane and Josh and their bullhorns and getting in the face of people. The whole Tommy phenomenon is crazy to me. In all the years I've been doing this, I've never seen anybody blow up quite like Tommy. And it's because Tommy's new career started out with him knocking somebody out. The drama, the confrontation, the violence. We as humans are ambulance chasers. And that's why a lot of people watch this stuff online. I'll admit, sometimes I'm guilty of it. I'm like, you sit there and you watch a half hour, 45 minutes and nothing's going on. Okay, I'm gonna turn on a motorcycle video or something, because we as humans get bored. Quincy's not all about that excitement. Quincy's about, still to this day, which I kind of am amazed and have some admiration for, still to this day, after all that we've seen and all that we've been through, still believes that you can build bridges. I watched him try with 2 different people this evening. What did she say her name was? It was a weird hippie name, but the the black girl with the piercings in her dimples. I want to say Autumn, but I don't think that was right. But it's some weird hippie name like that. And he talked to her for a long while, had a really good conversation, and then he sat there with Leilani, a.k.a. Maceface, for way longer than anybody else would have put up with her. Because Quincy believes in dialogue. Quincy believes in planting seeds through dialogue. I don't think he should be hated for that, especially by people that haven't been through what he's been through and haven't seen what he's seen, haven't stood where he stood. I have, so I get it. I don't think a lot of you understand what he means when he says there's no real Antifa down there, unless you were at the Battle of Yamhill Street. The confrontations that we've had at Waterfront Park, stop it. The things, I've been to rallies where I've spent hours and couldn't tell you anybody who spoke, anything that was said over the loudspeaker, because I was too busy protecting women of age, I hope I'm saying that right, from being attacked by 20-something-year-old black bloc. Because they were there, because they happened to have a red, white, and blue hat on, or a red Star-Spangled Banner shirt on. God forbid a MAGA hat. We were there in the days where just wearing this hat in public would get you assaulted. I was cornered in a parking garage once. After everything was over, I was waiting for my wife to bring me a helmet because Antifa had stolen my motorcycle helmet, so I couldn't ride out of Portland. So while I'm sitting there minding my own business, and anybody who's known me throughout the time, I'm not a very outspoken person when I'm at rallies. I like to kind of hang back and watch what's happening and just feel everything out and let everything take place in front of me, and then I react to it. I'm not a very upfront, antagonistic person. I'm more of a reactionary. So as usual, I was, me and another buddy, he was hanging with me for safety reasons. See, not many of you guys understand that. When I am a fairly capable of defending myself, 6 foot tall, 230 pound man that likes to fight. But yet, we were there in a time where even somebody like me had to have a battle buddy. Even somebody like me was not okay to walk through downtown by myself. Hour after everything had calmed down, supposedly it sounded and looked like everybody had went home. It still was not safe, as evidenced by the fact that while standing in a parking garage, I got accosted by half a dozen Antifa people that had already violently assaulted people in the previous hours. But that's what Antifa used to be. So when Quincy says that this is not Antifa, I've been down there twice, I think, maybe 3 times, but I know I've been down there twice filming. And apparently I have a MAGA appearance, so I've been told by random lefties, random protesters, whatnot. I've been confronted just because I look like MAGA, even though usually when I go down, I go gray man. Usually I'm wearing all black because I'm a biker and that's what we do. We seem to always wear black. So most of my sweatshirts and everything are black anyways. But I try to go gray man just to be non-confrontational, because I like to be able to film and walk around freely and go where I want to go without being in the thick of everything. And yet still I get approached. But down here at this ISTA protest, it's different. I've been down there twice and not gotten into any confrontations. Been down there for hours, live streaming with a camera, which apparently triggers them. It's a new phenomenon. It's a new atmosphere. It's different. And what's down there now, and this was, maybe a couple of months ago, and now what's down there is just strays. It's just leftovers. It's people that don't have anything to do. This Leilani girl, this 19, 20-year-old, whatever she is, you watch her just skipping around and giggling and this and that. She's doing it because it's fun. because somewhere it gets her Instagram cred or promotes her OnlyFans or whatever the hell she's got going on social media. But somebody somewhere told her she's cool for doing that. So in her mind, that makes her a cool kid if she goes down there. And apparently she has a lack of anything better to do. So that's her social life right now. You got homeless people down there that normally would be trying to find a bridge to sleep under during the day so that they can stay out of sight at night, or vice versa, depending on their drug habit. You got homeless people that are hanging down there instead of wandering the streets because they got nowhere else to go and nothing to do. And sometimes they bring food down there or whatever. So for a homeless person, it's a pretty cool gig. You stand around and pretend like you believe in their cause, and they'll take care of you. Hell, if I was homeless, I might do it. But it's not Antifa down there. Even the couple that show up in Black Bloc, they're just kids, lonely misfits, desperately trying to fit in with something, trying to find their way. I was one of those ones too. Feels like eons ago, but yeah, long time ago. I was telling everybody I was a Democrat until I grew up, until I became an adult. They don't really care. It's not about ICE. They don't care about ICE. They put that blue line there, and not a single one of them in months has crossed that line. That's lack of conviction. They're just there to be seen because there's more cameras than protesters. And they want to go home and turn on one of the conservative live streams and show their friends, look what I said to them. Look, I stood up to those conservatives, to those MAGA. There's no real conviction for the original cause. It is dead down there. There's 2 or 3 people that stand in the driveway, and as soon as that gate opens, before the cars even come out, they're half a block up the road getting out of the way. There's no yelling, no screaming, no standing in the way, no blocking vehicles. That's not the Antifa that we know. That's not really Antifa. That's Larpers. And I don't always agree with Tommy and Shane and Josh and their tactics. I'm a grumpy old man, so sometimes I'm like, why are you bothering to do that? You look silly just like them. That's the grumpy old man in me. But the patriot and the activist in me says, hey, you're down there being an activist in your way, doing your part, what you think is okay. Well, all you guys that are fans of Shane and Tommy and Josh and the other Shane, and sometimes Skylar is a little bit attention grabbing. For all of you in Valley streets, right? All of these guys that are down there making this noise, that's their tactic, and that's okay. Just because I don't want to do it, I'm not going to say that they're wrong for doing it. But don't punch right. Realize that we all have our roles to play. We all have our part. And if Quincy wants to go down there and plant seeds and hopefully try to make bridges, and somebody pointed out in the chat the entire time that May's face was Leilani, a sidebar, I have a hard time. I have daughters. I have a couple of daughters that are liberal. I could see them if opportunities were a little bit different and geography was a little different. They might be down there too. So I see somebody like Leilani, and I'm like, I can't be mean. I feel weird even calling her May's face, because if somebody was to do that to my daughter, it would not be a fun day. So I try to keep that in mind, to realize that these young kids are somebody's kids. Not that they're in any way correct in how they're thinking, what they're doing, and they probably need to be bent over their parents' knees and taught a lesson or two. But they still are human. They still are kids, and they're somebody's kids. So that's neither here nor there. That's just my view. I'm not sure how you probably disagree. Go ahead and tell me. I'm all right. But anyways, the whole time that Quincy was talking to Leilani, she wasn't yelling, screaming. She wasn't macing anybody. She wasn't harassing anybody. And even the Patriots left her alone. She was not part of the game. She was benched the entire time that she was talking to Quincy, and nothing bad happened around her for that period of time. I call that a win. Anytime a 19, 20-year-old girl is not getting assaulted or assaulting anyone else, I call that a win. And the fact that Quincy was willing to sit there and let her speak her mind is why that happened. All right, I'm going on 25 minutes here. So sorry. I don't know if I kept anybody's attention this long or not. Quincy's my boy. Quincy's my homie. I got his back any day of the week. But I'll also have Shane's back, and I'll also have Josh's back. And I'll also have Tommy's back. Maybe not to the same extent, because I have not spent holidays with these gentlemen like I have with Quincy and his family. I don't know their families. Not had deep personal talks with any of them. But regardless, if we're fighting the same battles, again, quote unquote, because the whole point of Quincy's thing is it's not really a battle anymore. It's kind of a freak show. It's kind of just a bunch of people trying to get attention in one way or another on both sides. Yep, I'll say it. Be mad at me all you want. But I'm going to say that I don't think motives are 100% cause-based. I don't even think that's the right word, but I'm not going to have 100% faith in everybody's motives down there right now, because it's a nothing burger, as another friend of mine used to say, and who used to do the same thing. He used to go down there and film at these events where there was actually violence going on, where there were improvised explosives getting launched at us, and people were getting hit by cars. People were assaulting each other with bats and knives. And hell, even one of our friends got shot. There's been a few stabbed. It used to be actual battles. The old Antifa. I won't say the real Antifa, I'll say the old Antifa. We used to have actual battles. So if you've not been in any of those, if you haven't been around as long as some of us have, maybe reconsider being so critical. Because if you've not been there, then you don't know how you would handle it. I have admiration for anybody that handles it, whether I agree with their way of handling it or not. Don't punch right. We're all on the same side. And if we start fighting with each other, then we lose. That's the long and short of it. Know a man's heart before judging his tactics. Quincy has a good heart, just like I'm sure Tommy does, just like I'm sure Shane does. Said I've met these guys but not had real conversations with them, so I don't know for sure, but I do know Quincy's heart. And I think if some of you critics knew his heart more, you would be a little less critical. Quincy, hopefully I'm going to tag you in this. Hopefully you'll see it. Love you, brother. You guys will see my sub count. This is a new channel. I wouldn't mind you give me some comments, give me some likes. If you haven't yet, then subscribe. Help me grow this little channel a little bit if you can. If you like what you heard, share it out or wait for the next one. If you didn't like it, leave me a comment saying you didn't like it. I'll take a negative comment. I'm okay with that. I'm a grown man. You're not going to hurt me on the internet. Anyhow, Patriot off.
You got something to say? Come on, say it. You got a game to play. Come on, play it. You got a life to live. I'm gonna take it. the time you know it